Greetings, Masandawana. We're back with yet another preview. And this time we bring you the preview of our game week 10 matches. We host Marumo Gallants at Loftus on Wednesday evening. Sure, Darwin Nunes,
Shosho Raveron.
how are you?
I'm not winner.
No, nothing, no complaints, no complaints. It's good that we're going back to the bread and butter of the DSTV. I always, before I say DSTV, the ABSA Premier Soccer League always comes to my mind. So I always have to rectify myself quickly before I say it. Yeah, the bread and butter of the DSTV Premier Soccer League. As we were able to maintain our top spot after pretenders tried and failed while we were busy with Intanga Zethu in the CAF Champions League. Yeah, we're hosting Gallants Ups. What have you made of them so far this season?
I think they didn't start the season very well. I think they started playing better once they recruited Dendens, because of, if you look at their last 3 games, they managed to win them all. Kibuaka, the last game, yeah, PSL, where they played TS Galaxy, and in the CAF Champions League, they won both in both legs. So I think recently,
There's only one South African team that's still in the CAF Champions League. Two started, one is left.
CAF Confederation. So I think they're starting to pick up, but we are yet to see a convincing side from Marumo Gallants.
Speaking of Dance, what do you make of his return? Because I feel like they have taken one step forward after taking 2 steps backwards, when I believe they should have kept Dance at the end of the season, offered him a proper contract, and then let him have preseason with the team so that they start on a great footing. I feel like they blundered by not making sure they go all out to keep Dance. I mean, he got them to a cup final that they could have won if they had faced any of the other 14 teams in the Premier League, just that they faced a team that doesn't play cup finals but wins cup finals.
Yeah, no. And another thing is that with them dance, I think they played a positive football. Like, they were very brave in terms of the approach and how they set up their team. So I didn't understand why they released him, because of, I mean, cup final, anything can happen, and they were up against a good side, which is Mamelodi Sundowns. But these small teams, it's like sometimes they forget or they are small teams. It's like the way they put pressure on the coaches that are still doing well, because of there was no good reason or Batibele tendence.
There really wasn't, man. They really wasn't. They should have, like I said, gone out of their way to keep Dance and then make sure he has a proper preseason with the team. He recruits players that he wants to have for the forthcoming season, and they wouldn't be at the bottom of the league like they are right now. As you know, this thing here, shooting, man. Like, I literally have this ring light in my face and young chase on Twitter. Hey. Yeah. Let's talk about two players that they've lost to the same team in Ndlondlo and Team. What do you make of their departures?
I think, first of all, they've done very well for Marumo Gallants. I think they deserve a new challenge, more especially a guy like Mdlondlo, who has done very well for Marumo Gallants. But I think they are still struggling to deal with the absence of both players. It is very difficult to replace a guy like Miguel Tim, and as well as a guy like Mdlondlo. But they still have good players like Edgar Managa, who could try and fill the space Miguel team, and they still has that player who is the same height as Ndlondlo. I can't remember his surname. I think Mpabani is
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. There are similarities between him and Ndlondlo, and I'm surprised that they are not playing him as often as I hoped they will play him because of Ndlondlo when he went to Orlando Pirates. Like none of maybe cannot anchor place here Ndlondlo in the starting lineup.
Yeah, no, they've lost two vital cogs of their team, and those guys are good players. I feel like they really going to struggle with someone like who can replace Team. I've seen what they've played. Ana ke mang o tshele re dlalla for ene from Solo CL.
So Kumar.
Sbu, yeah, in some of their games, but Sbu that we got from Solos and then Sbu now, two totally different players. So, and then with Ndlondlo, man, what more can I say? He's an amazing player. Like you say, Luena, Nath actually thought they'll actually play Pambaniso Haholo now that Ndlondlo is gone. But yeah, those two I think those two were their most important players actually in the last few seasons. They really were their two of their best players. So it's no surprise where they find themselves where they are, having lost both, even though Ndlondlo departed much later and he still hasn't won a match this season. He left having not won a match in the league. He still hasn't won a match. So made that Liruleo le le Tsuleo Karl Kadula le Molatela until season But yeah, man, yeah, like I said, we are playing Marumo Gallants, who are currently 15th. They've played 9 games this season, winning only one. They've drawn 6, and they've lost 2. They've scored 6 goals, conceded 7 goal difference. -1, and then they currently on 9 points. XG when you look at XG overall in the league, expected goals for 0.79. They are scoring so far they are scoring 0.67, and then expected goals against 1.09. They've conceded 0.78. So as bad a position they find themselves in right now, they are not conceding a lot of goals for a team that you think, when you think of a team that's second from bottom of the log. So they did defensively, they are not that bad. Yeah, but yeah, do you think Rabs come end of the season, battle mobile?
I think they have a coach who is used to being in that position. I think if they can get him enough players who are very good, I think they can elevate into a better position. But it is going to be tough. It is going to be tough because of you look at them performance wise. I think they are still struggling. They need to improve. And one thing about coaching teams like Marumo Gallants, they want instant results. And a coach like Dendens, he'd want to implement his philosophy and his style of play. And those kind of things, they're long kanako. And come on, you have the pressure from the management to deliver. So I think it is going to be difficult for Dendens.
You actually making a great point, Aure. It's now going to be performance versus results now, and like you say, Dance has a certain way of playing, and yes, he was there last season, but he could have done more pre-season. Now he's forced to rush things, but maybe the excuse me, the FIFA international break did him a world of good. What do you expect from Gallants on Wednesday? I expect them to build to be a typical dance team, to build from the back. I don't just I can't imagine dance going route one in Nigeria. But I think Dance is one of those coaches who pride themselves in what they believe in. So when he's facing the best team in South Africa, doesn't mean he's gonna do away with what he believes in. Some people might say he's, what's the word? Like, kind of, what's the word when you do something, even when you force into, even though you know, no, it might not work.
Is it naive or
He
arrogant?
might be naive, yes, naive. You might say he's naive, but that's what he believes in. And I think in the cup final, yeah, Bank, there were moments where he really pressed us high. I think he might go back to that because he was almost able to take the game into penalties. So it worked for him in that final. He might implement that again as well. They are a very high octane team, Marumo Gallants, and I expect that again. More so when you look at the offensive players that they have, Bo Makudubela, Bo Otladisa, Bo type Mulingwan, nippy players, So I think they will try and attack the full backstaff as much as they can. Dance will tell them, oh, no, go straight at them, challenge them, and Kimang Mudiba will most likely will most of the time invert, take advantage of the space that he uses, down overlaps, take the space that advantage of the space that they use, and then I know I said Hore Dance has a coach here with one, but he has someone up front who is seemingly very good with header, because most of the goals that I see him scoring the header in Dion, the goal was a header. So I expect to see a lot of crosses when they get into our final third, we're trying to find him. So that's what I think we're most likely to see from Gallants on Wednesday. When
I think off the ball, I think we are going to see or face a team that has a lot of gaps in the middle field because of you look at with the absence of Miguel, Busu Kumali is forced to play SS6 alone, and there are those gaps around him. And a team like Sundowns would want to target those half spaces in the middle field, and also like you have said, they have nippy and skillful wingers, and they are very intelligent. You look at Makudubela and you look at Otladis. I think if they can give those guys the ball as soon as possible, I think they can get something because of one, they have speed, and also they have the creativity in them. But up front, I think Dion, uh, like them dance we've said like the dance has his own style of playing, and you have to be good on the ball. You can't just rely on those headers, like your ball contribution, your ball control, and also being able to deal with the wall passes. I think you have to offer them something besides just challenging for the aerial ball. So now if I was them dance, I'd play a guy like Telimpilo Ngemba as a false nine and have uh, Otladisa on the left and Skudu on the right because of one, Telimpilo is a goal scorer and he likes to play between the center backs, and he is good. He can offer you something different than Dion, and also what he offers you is what Dendes would love to see from his forward players. So I think Telimpilo Ngema will be better in that position compared to Dion.
you know how Bwakari strike playing Kalimpilo as a false nine rather than Dion. There's a guy Wapara number 50 that who Gallants. He comes from MDC Golden Arrows. I just forgot his surname. He
Sibeko.
Spero MDC Golden Arrows. He was so good. I actually thought he would be not necessarily the next big thing in South African football, but I used to think, well, no, he'll be the main man at Arrows at some point in time. So I'm really surprised at how the turn that his career has taken, and now he mostly plays Kamo right thing. I remember Kaka final, he played Kamo right thing for until quite a bit. So yeah, that's one player that came to mind. Wabo. Let's talk about Sundowns Raps. In the last two games in continental football, we saw a lot of French players getting minutes. Of all the French players who raised their hand at the highest for you, who has you thinking, yeah, no, this one I might just start in the league next time.
Oh, I think it's difficult. I think Serino o hopoditse that Serino Anafit. I think o hopoditse or he's still there and we can still count on him. So I think a player like Serino and Bless, I think they've convinced me that they can compete and cement their place in the starting lineup again.
If Sereno doesn't start the important games, unless he's injured or suspended, I'm gonna blow my top. I'm gonna pop up my top if Gaston doesn't start because yeah, there's just no reason for Gaston not to start at Sundowns. Yeah, now Cassius, ne? But the thing with Cassius, Corey, the people that he's competing with, yeah, but they are just horrible. He raised his hand. He really raised his
Yeah,
hand. But hey, but so I feel like he'll get more minutes off the bench. Maybe from 5 minutes that he used to get, it will go to 10 between 10 and 15. But yeah, and then there's a Bless out as well. He really impressed me, Blesser, these games. Like we all know the talent that Blesser has. Wabo. We are playing. We can joke about it all we like, but on Saturday, the MTN 8 is a cup competition, and we love winning cup competitions. We can diss it and say plastic cup and whatever, but we want it. We are playing an MTN 8 semi-final on Saturday. Do you think the players that might be distracted a bit and think ahead in to game here Saturday instead of focusing on the game, the next game, yeah, Marumo Gallants?
I think the players ha ba tshwane le di-supporter. I think di-supporter ke bone le gore keng ba tatetse the Saturday game, but the players they know they have to deal with Marumo Gallants first. So I think the main focus it is on Marumo Gallants. Then we'll deal with the preparations that continue after we have played Marumo Gallants. So I don't think the Saturday game it will be a distraction for our players.
I also don't think it will be a distraction. I don't think the technical team will allow it to be. But at the same time, Sundowns and Alo Makata sometimes, like the game that you, especially when you're playing at home, the game it's going to be an easy 3 points, but end up by draw or somehow lose it or whatever. I'll never forget that game. That game pissed me off last season. Game, yeah, Black Leopards, where Kanagimang, that guy from Malawi, we scored. The guy who's been playing who scored a brilliant equalizer. He's been playing for Leopards for as long as I can remember, and we drew 1-1. So, and they were, I think, 16th Kanaguyo. So, yeah, I just hope it's not one of those games, man. What do you expect from Sundowns Raps?
I think we are playing against a team that is struggling, more especially in defense. So I'm expecting us to attack in all zones of the pitch when we are approaching the final third. And also, they're a team that likes to especially in defense, that the defense loves to follow the forward. So they dragged out of the position easily. So up front, I'm expecting us to be more mobile, to create spaces that will lead us creating goal scoring opportunities. And also, I'm expecting us to move ball faster because of Marumo Gallants. They are a team that reacts to the situation in terms of anticipating the situation. So that means we have to be faster and we have to be sharp. They have to be always late and react late. And I think if we become fast, it will give us an opportunity to be to get to the final third or to get to the goal scoring opportunity as fast as possible. Because of, like I've said, the team that reacts to the situations in terms of anticipating the situations.
Mm-hmm. I expect Sundowns to suffocate them in their half. I expect Sundowns to proper high press Marumo Gallants. If you remember cup final, our goal came from pressing them high. The best chances that we got in the first half came from pressing them high. And that goal that was disallowed there, Gaston, if it came from that situation. So I expect us to do that once again. Gallants players, especially their most skillful players, they tend to be most talented. Let me put that way. They tend to be a bit casual at times. They tend to it's not an official match. So I'd like to see us forcing them into the mistake, pressurizing them into like rushing them into releasing the ball and then us winning it back. There's a boy that I like in that team, Kiba. Ulala right back. I really enjoy watching that kid play. I think he's really good offensively, but I think you can get at him defensively. So I think if there's a side that we can target, it's his side. Kamole ka writing. And then you mentioned half spaces with Nto. Kima Sbu, him having to Azamokwala both the half space. I think if I know we'll do it, get Gaston, Leshikat close together, occupy a certain half space for a majority of the game, Bali two more. Space and then I think they will break him easily. But apart from breaking him easily, there would be a lot of space left on the other half space because his main focus and everyone was trying to help him. So it basically into will be overloading to isolate, overloading the one side and isolating the other side. Starting lineup.
I would bring back Ronan Williams, and right back I'll also bring back Dow. My centre backs it will be Grant Kekana and Hoshin the Hook, and left back it will be Opri Mudiba. Then I would have a double pivot of Jali and Blesser, but obviously Blesser will be more advanced. Then I would have Serino, Zwane, Alande, then up front, Peter Shalulile.
Oh, you have the same lineup. We have the same lineup. I have Williams, I have Mudau Gekana, right center back. I have the Rook left center back, Mudiba. I have AJ as my six, and then my 2 8 Elento, Kima,
Bless
Beta,
Alande.
Alande, and then Shika, Gaston, Lishalule. Prediction?
I think we are going to win 5-0.
Okay.
Why always shocked to tseba Marumo Gallants ba defenda ka mzala man bro?
Hayi maxwela mzala man. Rabs, you said 5 mil. These guys, XG yabona against it's game 1.09. They've conceded 0.78. Yo, I'm not even gonna ask you to do Mbatlo. I'm going for a 2-0 win. Yeah. Thanks guys for watching. Yeah, predict your scoreline. I think Raps has absolutely lost it. So comment with your predicted scoreline, and yeah, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and yeah, click on that notification button so that every time we drop, you are able to get that notification. Or yeah, the yellow corner is dropped, and yeah, good luck to the boys. Hopefully, we don't suffer any injuries, and yeah, we get a good and convincing win, and you will see us on Friday when we preview the second leg, yeah, MTN 8, as we play at home in Polokwane. Sharp, sharp, raps. Show Masanda one.